Good morning, it's Xinhua from, well, my new city. This is not Inner Mongolia, as I'm sure you can probably tell by the shorts and t-shirt in late September. That's because I'm in Suzhou in Jiangsu. After 5 years in Inner Mongolia, I finally bit the bullet and moved to the south where, well, despite the wind today, it is still pretty warm. So I'm going to tell you why I chose to leave Inner Mongolia, and then why I chose Suzhou, and maybe give you a little hint as to what's going to come in the future on the channel. So why did I leave Inner Mongolia? Well, anyone who knows me personally, or watches my videos, or watches the videos of Xinhua News, will know that I love Inner Mongolia. I mean, I think it's one of the most fascinating places I've been to, with the mix of Han culture, Mongolian culture, fantastic people, fantastic things to see. But I think it all just boils down to one thing, and that is just that it got too comfortable. That might sound strange, but I came to China to explore and to get out of my comfort zone. You know, I moved to Inner Mongolia when I was 21 years old. This was 5 years ago. And I've now been there for, you know, a lot of my adult life. And I think it was starting to, I don't know, curtail my creativity. I was running out of things to film and to show you, you know. I had shown you the city. This is Dong'an, or East Shore, and in fact it's where I work. I filmed videos at the Yellow River. One of the Yellow River's great inhabitants is the Yellow River carp. Out in the grasslands.
Just be relaxed. It's a lot easier to say be relaxed when you're stood there and I'm on the horse.
Even, you know, in the old town, in the Muslim district, around the temples, in the mountains, access to the villages from cities and vice versa has increased rapidly. And here we are in the shadow of Altan Khan, the founder of Hohhot. Huimin's a little different to the rest of the city, and I'll explain why later. And I wake up, I'd look at my YouTube and I would know that I need to upload something. I want to upload something. I enjoy making videos and showing people things. But I would just sit there and think, what do I film? What do I need to show people? And I'm not going to pretend, I'm not big-headed enough to say that I'm a Hohhot expert and I've seen everything and done everything. Of course I haven't. Inner Mongolia is huge. It's 5 times the size of the UK. But when it comes to making videos, I was just really running out of ideas. And not just for the videos, for myself as well. On my days off, I would jump on a bike and cycle to somewhere that I thought would be new and realize, oh, I've been here before, you know. So it came to the point where my contract was about to expire with my old school. And I knew if not now, then when. And I got a good offer from Suzhou, and Suzhou was already quite high on the list of places I wanted to go to, so I took it, and here I am. Now I am as aware as anyone that in many ways I'm very, very lucky, given my age and I suppose my background as well, to have seen many places many people will never go to, or to have experienced things many people will never experience. You know, I don't come from a particularly wealthy background. You know, everything I do is self-funded, but I've still managed to go to many of the world's great cities, from Paris to Melbourne, or Malmo to Kuwait City. But when it comes to choosing a city to live in, I can be quite picky. While those 4 cities are fantastic cities, they fall down on things like affordability or good public transport. Suzhou has both of them things, but then so do many cities. I think there's three major things that really sold Suzhou to me. And the first one, well, it's this, it's the natural beauty of the city and the green spaces, accessible green spaces. Spaces you can reach on the bus or on the metro. I think that's something that every wonderful city, every livable city has to have. You know, city life, it can be stressful. Of course it can. And if you have places where you can just come and reflect and relax, I think that really helps. That really improves the livability of places. And in Suzhou, it often feels like you can't turn a corner without finding a huge park or a wetland park like this one, or a mountain or a lake. And I know some people are probably thinking, well, you know, if you love nature so much, go and live in the countryside. But that's not what I'm talking about. I studied in a small town in North Wales, and it drove me stir crazy. You know, and really that brings me on to point two. And that is the size of the city. Unless you live in China, you probably wouldn't know that China actually has tiers for its cities. Tier 1 cities are your Beijings and Shanghais and your Guangzhous. And look, I love Beijing and I love Shanghai. I've been to both a number of times and I've always had a fantastic time. But I just don't think I could live in them. I mean, it only takes having to take the metro in Beijing at rush hour, or having to get from the north of Shanghai to the south of Shanghai, to put you off living in them places. Especially if you can't necessarily afford or don't want to have to pay to live right in the center. Your morning commute is going to be stressful and long. So they're your tier 1 cities. Now Hohhot, where I used to live in Inner Mongolia, is a tier 3 city. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with a tier 3 city. It's just, after 5 years, you just begin to run out of new things to see, new places to go to, new restaurants, new bars. And you can sometimes feel like you're just repeating, you know, repeating patterns there. And there's also, I would say, job opportunities are a little more limited. Hohhot is a city that does change quite a lot as the capital of a huge province, but it's not as fast changing as places like Suzhou, which fall into what are called the new tier 1 cities. These probably include a few cities you've heard of, your likes of Wuhan or Xiamen and Suzhou. And that means you get a good balance, you know? You can take the metro and not have to breathe in. You can live, you know, relatively close to where you work or near the centre without spending massive amounts on rent. And yet, it's also large enough to find something new every day, at least for now. And probably, if I'm here for as long as I was in Hohhot for, probably for the next 5 years, I would say. The other good thing as well is with tier 2 cities and new tier 1 cities, they are very well connected to the rest of China. Particularly Suzhou with its location. You can take a high-speed train to Shanghai in less than 30 minutes. I took a train from Beijing to Suzhou. We're talking, you know, this is like going from London to Prague, you know, this is like continental distance travel. And it took me 5 hours, because Suzhou's got a few stations that are on these mainline high-speed rail networks. So that was definitely a major drawing point. I knew that when I was going to leave, it would have to be at the very least to a tier 2 city, but preferably to one of these growing new tier 1 cities. But the last thing that really you know, swung Suzhou in my favor is the one that I suppose, depending on your own background, might not seem all that important, but to me I knew it was an absolute crucial point in deciding where I was going to move to. And that's just the fact that this city is built around water. Now that might not seem that important to many people, but I was born in a shipbuilding town in the north of England. I grew up on a peninsula, water on three sides. I studied on the North Wales coast, surrounded by beaches. And you know, the sea, that's my happy place, man. That's where I go when I need to recharge or reflect. There's something, you know, to me about sitting at a large body of water to just, I don't know, to make what seems like a big issue or something that's playing on your mind just sort of shrink away. Makes everything feel so much smaller. And you know, to begin with, it's fine without that. Hohhot has occasional rivers, albeit frozen half the year, but over time, man, it's like it's in your blood, the being near to the coast, and you can't recreate that in somewhere that doesn't have that. And it's something I've tried to put it as eloquently as possible to people who are not from the coast, who maybe just don't, you know, through no fault of their own, they just don't really understand just how important that fact is in a city. But you know, there's very few cities that are so built around water like Suzhou. This is called the Venice of China for good reason. And as soon as I saw that, coupled with the other things and the job offer, I just knew that it was almost written in the stars. Suzhou had to be the place. I mean, how could I not live somewhere called the Venice of China? So what does this mean for the future of this channel? I hear literally tens of you asking. Well, the simple answer is, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the exciting thing. Maybe I'll find more work with the likes of Xinhua or China Daily. Maybe I'll gain hundreds of thousands of subs and turn this into a full-time job. Or maybe the new changes to the regulations around teaching will force me to leave. I just don't know. I mean, that's part of taking the risk, and that's what keeps things exciting. But the one thing I do know is, as long as I'm here or anywhere else with my camera, I'm gonna carry on making videos. So we'll just have to see what the future holds. But for now, I've done about 35,000 steps today filming this, so I'm gonna run to the shop and then go to bed. Anyway, from Suzhou, Jiangsu, Zaijian, and I'll see you soon.